Leilani Armenta. I am a kicker on the football team. Today was my first home game, first kick, and I'm feeling very good. It was a lot of nerves, very exciting, but we will definitely be seeing some extra points, field goals, kickoff. I'm getting back into it. I feel really good. I'm really excited to go see where the season goes, and I want to thank you guys all for your support, and go Tigers.
All right, guys, so we got to do a similar story to a story that I did yesterday about more woke virtue signaling in college football, okay? There is this effort out here to push women into college football. I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is. Actually, I do know what the reason is. They want to try to prove that women are the same as men and that they can compete against men and play in men's sports. And everybody knows that that's just simply not the reality, okay? I mean, we did a story about a young woman that played for a D3 college football team, and, they put her in the game as defensive end / linebacker, and she rushed the quarterback for one play, and, they bought her out, right? And the reason why is because they simply just wanted to, quote-unquote, make history, right? They wanted to woke virtue signal and then give the girl a participation trophy for simply being on the team, even though she didn't take any hits. She didn't actually really do anything. But, she's going to get celebrated anyways, right? Because we're living in participation culture society, right? Where, again, we're celebrating women for essentially doing the bare minimum, okay? We don't actually ever celebrate men for doing the bare minimum, right? We always celebrate women for doing the bare minimum. It's pretty interesting stuff. But anyways, we have another story kind of like that, but this one's a little bit more interesting, okay? And this one involves Jackson State, which is actually a D1 college football team, okay? This was the school that Deion Sanders used to coach at before he went to Colorado, and they actually recruited a women's soccer player by the name of Leilani Armenta to suit up for the game due to injuries, allegedly, right? Allegedly. And let's just say that her first kickoff, okay, as kicker, really didn't go too well, in my opinion. But she got celebrated anyways for making, quote-unquote, history. Take a look.
All right, back in my suit and ready to rock, just like birthday boy coach T.C. Taylor, and it was his first home opener as JSU head coach in week 5 against Bethune in the W.C. Gordon Classic. And how about a little history to kick us off? Leilani Armenta becomes the first woman to ever play an HBCU D1 football game. Huge congrats on her big day. And after that, this one was a defensive slugfest in the early going. Isaac Peppers is a heat-seeking missile on the quarterback, and he gets the safety. Now for some scoring. Second quarter, Oregon transfer Seven McGee off the knee injury. He's looking pretty good. Huge score, but JSU trailed 9-8 at half. And now this would be the momentum changer. Bethune with the ball. JSU rips it out. Ball is out into the hands of Ethan Smith for the big boy score. He would be the defensive MVP. And now how about Irv Mulligan putting this one away? The offensive MVP, and this is why. Rips off a 66-yard run to make it 22-6. It wasn't always pretty, but the I Love wins 22-16. The birthday coach spoke after the game on Armenta's historic day and his first home opener win as head coach.
I did have a conversation with her. I talked to her the first day we got her out there at practice. She understood the responsibility. Also talking to her parents. I talked to her parents. They were very excited. She loves the game of football. Like I said, she played it in high school, but she loves football. She wanted to try to help this football team, and so we'll see where it going forward. This first win, like you said, it means a lot. It means a lot to get that home opener, first win, and then to my mentor, W.C. Gordon. I'm very excited about it, what we got going forward, though. We're going to continue to work.
Armenta played kicker in high school as well, and Taylor says she chose to step up in place of his 2 injured place kickers, despite it being a while since she had tried out kicking.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that. Now, when I first saw this story, when I first saw this video, I initially thought that she embarrassed herself. In fact, I guess I could probably say the same thing if we're looking at this from a merit standpoint, right? Which is kind of the point, of this video, and the reason why I talk about these topics is the erosion of merit. But it's a little bit more complicated than that, right? Because this woman actually is 10 months post ACL surgery, and she can actually kick. Okay, now again, she had started kicking recently, right? But I had watched some of her high school film, and she's not a bad kicker, right? I mean, she actually can kick. Now, can she kick at an elite level? Probably not. Okay, I mean, I don't think that she's better than probably the average college kicker that's a male, but that doesn't mean that she can't kick. Okay, like for example, look at this kickoff. That kickoff went a lot farther than her kickoff at JSU. Okay, and she routinely kicked field goals. This was something that she actually really did in high school. Okay, and she was somewhat decent at it, right? Even though she never ran down the field. Okay, which again, the reason why she doesn't run down the field is because we all know what would happen if she actually tried to take on some contact, right? She'd probably get laid out there on the field. Okay, so again, when she kicked off a JSU in college, right? As you saw, she didn't run down the field, right? She just stayed there, okay, to make sure she, got out of the way. But with that being said, I'm not entirely sure why you would bring on a female kicker who is post ACL surgery, right? 10 months. Why would you bring her on to kick? Like, is the injuries really that bad that you don't have anybody else that could possibly replace her, right? I mean, that's why I ultimately think that this is more about virtue signaling, okay? When I first read the story, I was for sure that it was a virtue signal, but then once I actually started to look into it, I was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe, there is some legitimacy to it. But then once I saw that, okay, well, she got an ACL tear, or whatever, I was like, nah, this is virtue signaling. Because if she's injured, she shouldn't be kicking, right? She shouldn't be playing if she's injured, okay? That is very dangerous for her, okay? She's not going to make a tackle, okay? She can't kick good. So, again, I'm trying to figure out exactly why, because they allowed somebody else to punt the football, right? So, clearly they got somebody that can kick. Again, why is she on the team? I don't understand, right? I don't get it. I really don't. What makes her better than any other kicker that is already injured, okay, or any player that is not necessarily a kicker, but is fully healthy and has the ability to kick, okay? And I'm saying that because we're talking about D1 college football athletes. Again, don't get me wrong. Kicking is a specialty. But, some of these players, even though they're not kickers, they can still kick, right? Just because they are athletic freaks, right? Especially, again, at the D1 level. So I am sure that they can find somebody. They can find somebody that can kick, right? They can find somebody, some male that can go out there and that can kick better than that, right? I'm just saying, because regardless of the injury, she's still in the game. So at the end of the day, we have to judge her based off the standards that we would judge anybody else. And by the standards that we would judge anybody else, aka any male, we would say that was terrible, right? That was a terrible first kickoff. She embarrassed herself. But again, we live in a society where we are hell-bent on essentially trying to give women participation trophies for doing the bare minimum, right? She is stepping into a man's game and essentially not taking on the same type of risk that a man would take on playing a man's game. And we are celebrating and congratulating her for it and pretending like this is supposed to be some type of inspiration for women when, again, this is nothing, right? This is nothing. She went out there, she kicked it, and it wasn't good. Okay, regardless of the injury, it wasn't good. I don't think it was a squib. I don't think she did it on purpose. I don't think it was an onside kick. I think that is the only kickoff that she did, okay, which was the opening kickoff, which, again, tells you everything you need to know, right? It was a woke virtue signal. Not sure if this would have happened under Deion Sanders, okay? I'm not sure if he would have, went woke with his kicker, but maybe he would have. I'm not sure, right? But again, this trend of women stepping on the field of football, I really don't like it. And one of the reasons why I don't like it is because I really don't believe that men and women should be competing against each other in these type of contact sports, especially at this high of a level. And they never actually put women in harm's way when they're playing. but then they want to turn around and give them a trophy simply for participating, right? I think this issue is probably just as bad as the issue of biological men competing against biological women in sports and then dominating the women because the men have a significant biological advantage, and then we turn around and praise the biological man as if he accomplished something, right? When he essentially just cheated the system, right? Again, this is what has entered our sports. And again, this is just another example of how meritocracy is eroding in this country, right? We've eroded away some of the fundamental values in this country that has made this country great in the name of wokeness, right? Diversity and inclusion is out of control, right? It really is. We really don't have to do this, right? We don't have to have men competing against women and women being put into a man's sports simply for virtue signaling points, right? Even though she's not actually really taking the same risk that a man would take being on the football field, right? So again, with that being said, let me know what you guys think, okay? I think that this is a woke virtue signal, but who knows? Maybe they're that desperate for a kicker that they're going to hire a woman that is still, recovering from an ACL tear to come out and kick for them. Again, you really got to be down bad to do that, right? And I personally believe that they weren't that down bad. They just did it because they saw it as an opportunity to, quote-unquote, make history. In this case, she's, I guess, the first female HBCU player, right? You know how they always find these more specific categories to try to say, well, they made history, right? So we already had a woman play on a college football team before, right? And then you had a woman that actually was the first to play on a college football team in a non-kicker position. And now the history is being made by a woman who's a kicker playing for HBCU, right? Again, it's fascinating stuff. It really is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.